to Unsigned518. I am here virtually with Russ Robson, founder and I guess pinnacle of Gussapolooza. How's it going, man?
Good, brother. Thanks for having me, man.
Well, thanks for introducing me to, we'll get into what Gussapolooza is. I've obviously become very familiar with it over like the last couple months. I've talked about it, a lot of my listeners in Circle know what it is. But we'll get into that. But I wanted to just start before we introduce everybody to you and what the festival is. You literally just sent me a message and was like, hey, I do this festival of unsigned musicians, and I want to invite you up to, Ontario, Canada, to come to this festival. And I think I said yes within like a day. I think it was like a day or so. I basically like showed it to my wife, and I was like, what do you think? And she was like, what do you think? And I'm like, I want to fucking go. And she was like, go. So that's like how I found out about it. Like, you literally were just like, come. So thank you for bringing not only my attention to it, but literally bringing me to it. And I'm going to do a bunch of live podcasts, or not live podcasts, but, I'm going to record a bunch of podcasts there on site. And I'm going to try to like coordinate it, catching bands, either before they play or after they play, kind of like when they're organically on the grounds. And I'm so excited. Like my buddy that I grew up with, we've been in radio together since the 90s. He's coming with me to be like my assistant and to hold down the booth while I'm doing recordings. Like, it's going to be sick. But I guess enough about me. Let's get into, how Gussapolooza came about, and I guess go back like as far as you want to and tell the story however you want, kind of leading up to where we are today.
Absolutely. And I was so happy to find, so I was actually in Mexico. My wife and I were in Mexico touring around when I found your content, and I saw what you were doing for unsigned artists in your area. And you're exactly what we're looking to connect with. Exactly, people exactly like you who are, who know something needs to be done for emerging artists, and who are, donating their time and their efforts into creating a platform for artists to get discovered. So, thank you for doing that and putting it out there for us to find. And as soon as I felt like it was Step Brothers. As soon as we started talking, we're like, oh man, we just became best friends.
Yeah, and it was over email. Like, we hadn't even like seen what each other. Like, it was literally just over email. And I was like, dude, I'm so stoked. We're gonna be rocking this shit. And I'm like, I could be talking like a 90-year-old for all I know. But like,
yeah, man. And you know what? It's such a cool thing, because I find that the people that we've connected with, like you, it's just, we're all in it for the same reasons. We're in it to see a beautiful scene and to make opportunities. And those kind of people are just, they're just diamonds. So it's like, it's just gonna, we're so excited for this festival, and to, connect and keep on keeping on with our newfound friends, and try to inspire more and more people to get on board with what we're all kind of doing. But, I'll tell you a little bit more about the festival. So I'm a traveling musician. I was, I'm a singer-songwriter, and I've been touring around for a long time. I lived in a motorhome and toured up and through North America, lived all over the States, lived all over Canada. Met a lot of interesting folks on the road. And I met a lot of artists. So as a traveling musician, if you're, new to a new city or a new town, the first thing you do is you go to an open mic, or you try to book a show, and you end up meeting a lot of people involved in a scene, and they become your new best friends, because you kind of roll in by yourself, and all of a sudden at the end of the open mic, you're going to a house party, and you meet the singer-songwriters and the members of that community. so I always got to meet so many amazing musicians with such amazing stories from city to city, and it always stayed with me. And I noticed, when I went to the bigger cities, I ran into so many artists who had left small town USA, small town Canada, in search of more opportunities. And I was living in Los Angeles, and I remember I was going to open mics in West Hollywood, and a few the open mics were different in California and West Hollywood, anyways, because there was a lot of comedians. More comedians than musicians for the first time I'd ever noticed, so I'd always sit there and just, I was so entertaining watching these guys get up and just, try to make the crowd laugh. And then you get up with your sad songs, in the middle of this. It's such a strange dynamic, but so much fun, and what I'd found was a lot of the comedians were heading up to Just for Laughs Comedy Fest in Montreal, from Los Angeles, and a lot of us were headed down there. So it was almost like comedians were passing musicians on the highway in search of opportunity. And I always thought it was so cool that a festival could offer just as much opportunity as an entire city could. So that always kind of stayed with me. And anyways, I ended up moving back to the Toronto area where I grew up, in around 2017, and came back to be with some family. Been on the road for many years, and just wanted to. Life was going by, and so we had signed up. I got invited to go out and play a music festival with Willie Nelson and Toby Keith, called Rock and River Music Festival. And I got out there and met the people running that music festival. And it was just so cool. It was a family running it, and I think they got bought up by Live Nation recently. But I was just in love with the idea that these guys put this thing all together. So, anyways, we ended up, me and some BC bands from the West Coast, ended up touring back to the Toronto area. And when we got back in the end of September, we decided to throw a celebration in the backyard. It was supposed to be for one day. It was going to be a one-day gig. And we were just going to have a party. We're going to get some sound equipment and play some music. So we put an open call out on Facebook, and we had so many bands reach out to us. We were like, hey, if you got a band in the area, come out and play. We're going to have this party. And we had like 50 bands get back to us and say, hey, we want to play. And so the one-day event turned into a 3-day event. And then we had a taco truck show up. And boof, we had a music festival. Yeah, we had a friend of mine that I had met on the West Coast had saw the post on Facebook, and he's like, hey, dude, he's like, I got this taco truck going. He's like, I want to come. And actually, that taco truck's been with us ever since, Paco's Tacos. So we had, after that, it was just kind of a backyard bash, and I had a lot of musicians reaching out to me saying, hey, there's nothing like this for us indie artists here. There's all these big festivals with these big names, but there's nothing here for us. So we kept on going. We did it again after requests. And about 2019, we decided to get serious with it, and we'd outgrown our acreage. We had it on 5 acres, and we'd outgrown it. So we found a new place, which was 48 acres. They had a full RV park, and they had enough property for us to grow and keep going there. And that's right when the pandemic happened. So we survived the pandemic, and in 2022, we invited 75 bands out. We had 75 bands playing 3 days, and that was kind of our first big real year, because that's when we had sponsors, we had mobile stages, and we could really actually offer some really cool stuff. And then fast forward to 2024, we got 2,000 submissions from across North America this year, from bands from LA, Austin, Texas, New York City, across Canada, from Newfoundland to Victoria, all the way up in the Yukon, of bands who want to jump in a van and head out to where our stages are so they can play their original music. And so we're always trying to be the most purposeful and opportunistic festival around. What we want to do is try to create real opportunities for emerging bands to come out, play their original music, and get them in front of the right people. And that's what we're working hard to do. So this year we've invited record labels, podcasts, radio stations, internet radio stations, anybody with skin in the game. We actually have a convention for them to come out. We've got exciting, they're called Jam Stack. They're going to be joining us this year. They make an amplifier that musicians can plug right into their cell phone, and it burns the audio right into their music videos. They're going to be coming out, giving their products away, looking to show their products to emerging music. So it's like bringing the whole scene together, because you can't have a launch pad without a scene behind you. So we want to get anybody with a publication, any kind of music journalists, anybody who's got any kind of skin in the game. We're trying to get them out and join us, and they could be from across North America, because it's all these little pockets of all these amazing people I've met throughout my life. And we're all connected, we all need to travel. We all need to grow. So it's kind of like this big celebration of people who are looking to pursue magic in their lives. And that's really what we're trying to do.
And like, you probably don't realize this, but like, I created a new show basically based off Gussapolooza, and now I have a show where it's the same thing that I do locally in the 518, but it's over the phone. It's remotely. It's, and now I have bands like I'm on like episode 4. It's called the Unsigned Unwind, but I've had a band from Detroit, from like Lansing, Michigan, Portland, Oregon, Nashville, like just, all over I haven't gotten into Canada yet, but it's funny because I do. The tagline is local music across U.S. and Canada. So Canadian bands definitely hit us up. And you had a huge part in that, because I was like, I could just reach out to all these other pockets of local bands that are everywhere and kind of bring them together. Because like you said, you got to travel, and if you're like,
absolutely,
I'm going to this city and I know 3 bands there, like if you can create real life connections, it makes it like all worth it though.
And that's exactly what it's so cool to see, because since we've been doing the festival, we have had bands from the West Coast meet bands from the East Coast, and they tour together. When they're going to town, they've got couches to stay on,
right.
And it's like, it's really connecting these amazing people from all over. And it's so cool, dude. And it's so cool to hear that we could inspire something like that as well. And that's really, what we're looking to do is just like, what happens when we bring all these amazing people together, people who are dreamers, really, because, you really got to be brave and follow your heart to consider a career in music and entertainment. It's no easy feat. And it's like, how can we... and it all happens with community. It's like we all need each other, and that's one of the intents with Gussapolooza too. Is like, not everybody's a musician, but some people are talented videographers. Some people are talented, and like I got friends in film, and sometimes they'll make a documentary, be like, "Hey Russ, can I use one of your songs?" And I'm like, "Absolutely, I'd love." And they can promote you through their work, and then all of a sudden, hey, I might need a music video someday. So I call them up. I'm like, "Hey, would you mind hitting me back?" And they're like, "Absolutely," Or this visual artist who can create you an amazing album cover, and it's like, when you look at some of the best work out there, some of your favorite albums, you're like, how did that happen?
Right.
And it's all through these networks, of people who find each other, and then all of a sudden this magic happens. So when I was young, starting out as a songwriter, I played every little hole in the wall from here to, pretty much Chula Vista, dude, from Newfoundland to Chula Vista, man. And I always I never knew music business. So I had this great art, but I didn't know how to make it into a product and how to market it. And I was much older by the time I started smartening up and realizing, hey, I got to get my act together here. And so I always wanted to provide that opportunity to emerging artists who don't know really where to go or how to build a team. It's like, how cool could it be if you could just show up to an event and find your manager or find all these amazing people who can hook you up with a gig, find other event organizers who are looking for talent, and you can build a team, and then you can get all this knowledge from people in the business who are like, hey kid, you got to do this, you guys, I like what you're doing. You got a great product, but you got to get it to market. And that's one of the things is a big side of the festival is education. So we do seminars as well. And we're trying to arm these emerging bands with the right tools. Hey, what can AI do for you? We're doing an AI seminar, and what are you not thinking of yet? Because it's cool that you've got this amazing band, but how do we get you from where you are to where you need to be? And how can we do that for cheap? Like the price of a festival ticket, cheap,
right?
And
like, do you, because a lot of things that I've found, working with so many local bands over the last couple of years around here, and myself too, I'm also in a local band, but there's like different levels of what people want to achieve. Not everybody wants to quote unquote make it and get out of this town and become the biggest band and play arenas. Like, some people literally just want to something as simple as just replace the day job. Like I was talking to someone the other day or going through old interviews, and someone basically was like, I just want to, like, I don't want to get rich. I would just like to take the money that I make in my day job, keep that same money, but just make art instead. So like, are there like different levels basically of guidance towards whatever goal?
Yeah, I mean, it's totally pick your own adventure, and that's what life is, man. You pick your own adventure. You go at whatever rate you want to go at, but if you have the drive, or if you want to succeed or go farther, it should be an option there for you. But hey, if you're happy, absolutely. But I mean, I think all of us as artists, you can't ever lose that passion. And that's the most beautiful thing you could hear. It's like, I just want to play music. That's exactly what we're all doing. We just want to be able to play music and put the time into it, So it's definitely, it's any, like, I often tell people this, and it was told to me a long time ago. It's like, it doesn't matter if you're creating a new shoe or a piece of art. It's still a product. You're creating a product. And it's up to you what you want to do with that product. You could have the best shoe or best product in the world, but if nobody knows about it, it's not going to go too far. You're not going to help that many people with it, So it all depends. If you're looking to get your art in front of a lot of people, you need to really consider the business side of things. And if you want to be self-sustainable, I think most of us have worked a 9-to-5 job. I've worked all over the place. I was in the oil sands. I've worked in auto manufacturing. That scene in 8 Mile where Eminem is on that punch press. That was me, man. I was on one of those things, and it's brutal. Watching the time go by in your life, doing something you don't want to do. And I think it was Jim Carrey who said, you can fail at what you don't want to do, so why not try something you want to do? I'd rather fail at something I want to do than fail at something I don't want to do. And I think a lot of us at this age have learned that already with the '08 crash and even in recent times, you don't know what the world's going to hold for you, but let's not waste time.
Right.
Let's do what we can when we got the time to do it. And I think, I just making art and creativity is such a great way to spend life. So I try to make a canvas where everybody can come out and paint something on it.
Yeah, I for one am so excited to come. And I got an Airbnb like a mile and a half down the road or something like that. It was like a very, very close, right on that same road. And I do want to talk more about like the festival and kind of who's playing and hit some highlights. But right now, I think we should play a song from an artist that will be at Gussapolooza 2024. So what do we got?
Absolutely. So I would highly suggest the Fortunate Losers. They're one of our award winners. So every year we hand out some big awards. to some bands who we're very excited for, and who we have a team that looks at their credentials, what they've done before the festival, when they come out, and when they bring it, we give them some awards. And this year we're bringing back this band. They're called the Fortunate Losers, and this song's called Taste. And they're out of a place called Sudbury, Ontario, Canada. And have a listen to this.
All right, so let's check out Taste from the Fortunate Losers, and then we'll be right back to talk some more with Russ.
Deep within my bones, I was sacrificed. However, since your heartbeat with both fingertips, only cause to check your pulse to pass the time. To all the rest, I do confess. Living on the rubber band, stretched around the side. For what you know if you dare. 'Cause all I need is a reminding of a melody of how we used to sing. Living on a rubber band, stretched around the side.
All right, that was Taste, the Fortunate Losers, and they're going to be at Gussapolooza 2024, and I'm actually going to be there as well. So I guess where, for anybody who does not know, where exactly is the grounds, the festival? Because I know, because I, like, on Google Earth and shit, like, I feel like I know that fucking town now, because I was like, there's the festival grounds, there's where the Airbnb is. There's the dispensary. No, so where is the actual grounds? Like,
so the grounds is in a little town called Cookstown, Ontario, and we chose that location because there's two major highways that come out of Toronto. One is the 404, one's the 400, and they both run north. And Cookstown is just right off of the 400 highway. So it's like not even an hour drive from downtown Toronto. It's like 45 minutes straight up the highway. And it's central to Ontario. So we got bands from Ottawa or Sarnia or New York. It's all the same distance, to get there. If you're in that vicinity, it's pretty easy to get there, and it's around the same distance for everybody. So it was great. The town really kind of opened up their arms to us. It is really just a small town. There are not very many people there. And then there was this event grounds just outside of it, and you can basically see the event grounds from downtown. And it's called the Georgian Bay Steam Show grounds, and they've held a steam show tractor event there for the last 60 years. So they've got these old steam tractors kicking around. They invited me out to their show one time, and I was like, oh, this is so cool. This is something out of like Burning Man, because they got these old tractors, and it takes like 5 guys to run one of these things. One guy's shoveling coal in them, and I'm like, oh, can we please have one of those driving around at the event? Like they're out of a movie, it's just like straight like a steampunk, so it was a perfect fit for us. They had on-site buildings, so they've got a 30-foot by 80-foot kind of a barn, and in there we put our stage for our seminars. We do acoustic sets. We get bands playing there, and then we do our comedy show as well. And a comedy is a big part of the event. It's such a great place for us. They got an RV park. They've got on-site showers. And they got a little creek in the back too. So if anybody wants to take a dip, if it's not too hot, hopefully, yeah, man.
You were saying it's kind of central. I mean, when I first was like, oh, Ontario, thinking that's far, but I mean, it's only like, it's an 8-hour drive, which is not amazing, but it looks like such an easy drive. You know what I mean? It's just like go over, up, there. And we're going to get there, I think, because it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday, right? Yeah, so we're going to get there like midday Friday, because we're going to leave, crack of dawn, like by like 4 a.m. Friday, and then get there midday Friday and set up. And then, like I said, I'm just going to try to do some podcast. I have a mobile. It'd be the same shit that I'm using right now, and I was thinking I'll have my car, where the booth is. I'll have my car, and it's a soundproof booth. I could bring just like a couple of acoustic tiles, put them on the windshield. Boom, mobile podcast studio.
There you go, man. Absolutely. You know what?
Be awesome.
That's so cool, and that's what we're looking to do. Absolutely. We're always trying to create that space. We want people to know about your podcast, what you're doing. We want all the bands to know and submit, so you can check them out. And like I said, we're excited to have you out, and excited for other people to network. Who knows what's going to happen? Maybe you'll have a tech company or some sort of corporation want to sponsor the show. It's really a really cool space to find that, and everybody's looking to network, and I think it's really up to us to create our own scene here, and we're happy to help.
And I love how you were saying, because it is a music scene, but like there are so many moving parts. Everything that you were saying, I see like directly in my 30-mile zone, like with the local scene here around like Saratoga, Albany. All the photographers, the journalists, the videographers, the venue owners, the promoters. Like, it's not just the musicians. You need a community, and a music community is more than just musicians. Yeah.
Well, absolutely. It's all these amazing people who like are great writers. Great people. Like there's a difference between a guy running around with a camera and somebody with that eye to capture that, right. Who can see that, who captures that. We wouldn't have all the great videos and all the great stories or Rolling Stone without these folks. They've gotten so big, but there's so much room at the bottom for the next, these next magazines, these next great people, and it's just it's the forest floor, and there's just going to be so much that sprouts up. And what an amazing thing where you can go to another town and just know that there's a connection there. You
Right.
know, some managers you can talk to, a couple bands, a couple venue owners who are like, hey, we saw what you guys are doing, and come on over. We'll set you up with a couple shows when you're in town. And it just creates this network of moving art, because that's what needs to happen. It needs to be moving around and flowing, like a just beautiful artistic river of creativity, So, and that's exactly what life's all about. Is just about connections and about sharing art and about seeing the world too. Getting out, seeing Canada's beautiful, America's beautiful,
Yeah.
Mexico's beautiful.
Yeah, and I've been like, underneath like the Great Lakes, like driving somewhere, whatever, but I've never gone, north. I've never been up in that area. I've never been anywhere near that area of Canada. I've always, I've been to Montreal, and that's basically because I grew up in Vermont, and the drinking age is 18. So like,
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Montreal was only a 3-hour drive for us. So
Yeah. That's Montreal is a great city too, and it's we got a lot of so many. We've had some great bands from Montreal come grace our stages. They've got such a cool scene, and I mean, it's like North America. We're so lucky, and I can tell you, after living in Mexico, this past 7 months, we were down there when I discovered your content. It's amazing what North America and Canada and America and the UK and have given the world in terms of art. Rush, the Stones, just this amazing the blues, rock and roll. These are things that should be continued, and I think the next best thing has yet to come. And I think it just comes from everybody looking for that next thing, looking to be creative and be free and free to create. And I think this is an amazing place in the world to do that.
So before we go, is there another Gussapolooza artist that you want to showcase on the episode?
Absolutely. There's a good band called Cigar Club, and they won our second highest award at Gussapolooza. But all the bands they're really good, and we're always excited to get more out. So we always want everybody to know, for submissions, guys, get your submissions in. Go to our website and sign up to the newsletter. And get those submissions into us, because we want to hear everybody from all over the place. And but Cigar Club is another one. They're out of Toronto, and these guys are rocking it.
And what's the name of the song we're gonna hear?
This one could be Aliens. It's a good tune, but they got a few. So I think Aliens.
All right, sweet. Let's listen to Aliens, Cigar Club, and we'll be right back to wrap it up.
From your nose, you're wasted. You get your thoughts
That was Aliens Cigar Club. And Russ, I want to thank you again so much, not only for taking your time to talk to me today, but for introducing me to Gussapolooza, for inviting me to Gussapolooza, and, just opening up a whole new, like Pandora's box of people that I can introduce to each other, because it had never even crossed my mind to do a national show, because I was like, I always do my shit in person, and then I was like, well, I could just, so that one email or one DM in Instagram changed a lot of shit. So thank you for a whole bunch of stuff. But anyway, before we go, I just, like I give all my guests, want to give you a chance to say what I refer to as your gratitude. So microphone is all yours.
Yeah, man. Well, thank you for having me on the show. Thank you for doing what you do in the area and shining a light on emerging artists. That's huge. The scene thanks you, and I'm sure there's a lot of bands kicking around there that have nothing but great things to say. So it's people like yourself that keep these scenes alive and well, and it takes a team. But my team is very bare bones. Me and my wife Valerie, we organize the entire event. So we're working around the clock, putting this thing on, and I couldn't do it without her. She's just an amazing woman, and the bands around here just love her to bits, because she's usually answering your emails and all that stuff. She's the one that really sews it together. So a big thanks to Valerie Robson, and a big thanks to all the bands who are willing to come from so far away, the people who are willing to travel to gather for this event. It's so heartwarming. It's amazing, and thank you for the people who believe in music and following their hearts. It's not an easy thing. Especially at times like this. Food is not cheap, and neither is rent. And it takes a amazingly brave person to follow their heart, and we just hope to be able to provide opportunities to such people, and really just strengthen the scene, connect people across borders, connect artists across genres, and connect this entire scene of ours, and see what happens. So I'm very thankful and grateful to be of service, and we have high hopes for Gussapolooza. And we're always looking to connect with great bands, great artists. So if you guys are out there, you've got, if you're a visual artist, if you're a content creator, if you've got, the next big station that's going to play and discover the next big artist, come on out. We want to have you out. We want to see what we can do to you, and have get you in front of a new audience that can listen to you and check out your products and connect you with the people who need your services. So, once again, thank you, and we'll see you in September in Cookstown, Ontario, 13th, 14th, and 15th for Gussapolooza Music Festival. Well,
I'm super stoked to meet you and your wife in person, and I will, like I said, be there midday on day one of Gussapolooza, and I'm excited to connect. I am Andy Scullin. This is Unsigned518, and we'll see you on the road. Unsigned518 is produced and hosted by me, Andy Scullin. New episodes are available every week wherever you stream podcasts. If you would like to help support the show, please like and subscribe wherever you are listening, or you could buy me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/unsigned518. If you would like to advertise on the show, send me an email at unsigned518@gmail.com. And to be a guest on the show, reach out to me through Instagram at unsigned518. Take care of one another, and I'll see you next week.